if you were to take this bike out on the highway, would you have a terrible time? No, you wouldn't. You'll be okay. But can you have a better time than this for 2.4 lakh rupees today? 100% you can. Will that mean an ICE machine? 100%. And at 2.4 lakh rupees today, you have some very accomplished ICE machines. Versus that, this feels crude. But where EVs usually slip up?
Okay, you said crude. Give an example.
For example, a Speed 400's handling is a very sharply refined, designed for its role thing.
Right.
That's also true for the Scrambler 400X. That's also true for the Scram, which is not super finessed, but it has a feeling that connects to the machine. And you can take example after this. And those roles are clearly defined. So the classic 350, which is roughly 2.2, handles a certain way, which connects to the role of that machine. And there is a one-to-one expectation to that kind of abstraction. EV motorcycles have not reached yet.
Okay.
So from that perspective, will it go around the corner? Of course it will. Will you feel like I planned it like this and it did exactly those things and I have such great feelings about it?
Sense of identity is not there. Okay.
Not yet.
Got it.
And initially I thought it was me. Like I don't have so much familiarity with electrics that I'm expecting a certain behavior from a machine, but that's not actually the case. Okay, so the extra weight does get in your way. The lack of suspension travel for the equivalent kind of machine versus the kind of weight it is having to manage, the long wheelbases, whatever. All of these factors get in the way primarily of the frame. And when the frame can't do its job to the maximum available today, then you can feel that there is a gap here. That gap needs to be plugged, right? So for example, if you look at the electric Himalayans battery pack, it's a shaped battery pack. Why is it shaped? It's shaped so that the mass can be organized for both packaging and center of gravity control. So you can spread it out, right? In theory, you could, let's say that I'm great friends with these Raptee people. And I say, listen, can I build a battery pack which is 9 cuboids connected by wiring? Then I can place these 9 cuboids in different places on the machine and achieve the weight and COG balance and all that I want. They haven't got to the place where battery tech is so stable and so understood that they can have this much complexity, right? Because that means each individual unit has to be waterproofed. Each one has to have thermal management. Then each has to be connected in wires to other battery packs. And then the whole monitoring system that manufactures every cell has to monitor this distributed. It's a very complicated way to build a great frame.
Inefficient also. It will become extremely inefficient. Yeah.
So what do? You build the safest, most fireproof, most thermally efficient. So you build a suitcase. But once you build a suitcase, right? Imagine, for example, that he's about, let's call it 80 kilos. I am 50 kilos. My camera person is 40 kilos. Let's call him super light. But we sit roughly in the same place on the motorcycle. But let's say we built a flexible seating motorcycle where you could sit literally wherever you want. So he would choose to sit on the front fender and most of the motorcycles behind him. And I choose to sit at the tail light and most of the motorcycles ahead of me. Now, when you try to design the frame to work, it's just not possible because there is a dense mass sitting at a weird place on the machine. And that's the problem. Are there very impressive aspects about the motorcycles? For sure there are. Are they available everywhere? No, you can't buy one everywhere yet. But if you live in Bengaluru, if you live in Chennai, you want to go check out the Raptee, you should. Right? But when you're buying in, remember, you're buying the first wave of a new kind of thing, which will come with its own challenges. And we may not know what those challenges are. And you have to be prepared to sign up for that. So early adopters, they'd be super happy with this. But if you're a mass market mentality person, where you just want this thing to run and happily forever after, maybe it will, maybe it won't. We don't know.
I don't think any mass market buyer should be looking at an electric motorcycle today, full stop. Mass market buyers, for them, scooters are the perfect solution. They are commonplace enough. There is a wide variety of choice. They're fairly well entrenched and they're fairly well established in terms of what they can or cannot do and what your pros and cons therefore are. With anything like this, you are going in, and this is that EV conversation again. This goes into the luxury aspect of two-wheeler EVs, right? Which means you're going in for the experience. You can't be a mass buyer and looking at buying a 2.5 lakh rupee bike that has a range of 150 kilometers, which is something that a regular scooter today, the higher variants are promising any which way.
That's one. Two, I've always had a philosophical issue with electric and motorcycle being connected to each other. You know how Apple Pen and this doesn't make an Apple Pen? In the same way, electric motorcycle doesn't make a great experience yet. Okay, I'll give you 3 or 4 ways to think about it. When Charlie Bowman and Ewan McGregor decided to do Long Way Up, which was South America on an electric Harley Davidson, whatever it was called, live wire. The first episode was, we don't want this to be a story of charging. By the second episode, there was a diesel generator charging. And by the third episode, they were basically telling us which all plug points they used and in what ways they used those plug points. And that was the series that I said, that's it, I cannot watch this, right? There's somebody on an electric Zero who's traveling through India or Nepal or whatever. Their stories largely also focus on
Just finding chargers, yeah.
chargers. And to me, the fundamental disconnect that I have is I've owned motorcycles for a number of years now. I test motorcycles and I basically say, I want to test that. And if I'm free, I will do my own tire pressure check. If I'm not free, some of my colleagues will help me check tire pressures, and then I take the bike and I go. And whether I'm heading out for a 50-kilometer run or a 400-kilometer run makes no difference to my life, because that's what the machine was designed to do. And that kind of just freedom is not available to electrics yet. And to me, I will buy an electric motorcycle because I can see the performance of it. I see it. But the chassis performance, it is not equivalent yet. The freedom of range, it's not equivalent yet. So if you want novelty value, you want your friends to see it, you're basically going to show it off around town, most of your trips are around town, absolutely, they are ready for that. Which is the same use cycle as a scooter. And I have made this joke before, where electric motorcycles today, especially at the base grade, they are scooters without storage, right? But if you want a genuine, it'll do anything motorcycle, not yet. Right? I know somebody like this, okay? He's a nephew of somebody I know. And they went and bought themselves an F77. And they're very happy with their machine. Right? So I happened to run into this kid, and he's like a gym boy, so full muscles and everything. And I asked him, I said, what do you use it for? He said, I just go to college on it. But in his group are all motorcycle riders who take long weekend rides and all this stuff. But that's not his thing. He's a gym boy, like he's hardcore, like he's perpetually coming from the gym and going to the gym. And when he's not doing this, he's going to college. For him, the F77 works gangbusters because it looks different, it sounds different. In the right mode, it goes really fast. But his primary purpose is to go to the gym 3 kilometers away and to go to college, which is 11 kilometers away. Perfect.
It's differentiated enough, it's cool. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that clarity to me is important when you're saying, ooh, electric motorcycles. They're a very, very, very cool idea, but just not yet.
Yeah.
That's it.
Electric motorcycles, their time hasn't quite come, but it seems like a very interesting step has been taken by the Raptee T30. Why exactly is that? You can catch up on the entire conversation with Shumi telling me the experience of his ride with the T30 around Chennai. The video is playing right now on the MotorInc app, which is free to download and free to sign up on.